Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video I'm going to give you my full review of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4, and I've been testing this device for almost 10 days now. And guys, do note that the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4 that is sold in India is the Snapdragon 625 variant, and that's what I have been testing for all these days. And this comes in three different variants: 2GB RAM, 3GB RAM, and a version with 4GB of RAM that comes with 64GB of storage. I have been testing the 4GB RAM variant, and I'll share my experience in this review. But before that, here are the specs for the Redmi Note 4. And as you can see, it runs on the Snapdragon 625 chipset. And this product is sold via Flipkart. It starts at 10,000 rupees and goes all the way up to 13,000 rupees. And I'll be dividing this review between the pros and cons. But before that, let me give you an overview and what I experienced with this device. So this is the Redmi Note 4, and let's first talk about the physical overview. And I have to say, in terms of build quality, Xiaomi has done a great job. For example, I have this is the old Redmi Note 3, and though in terms of looks, both look similar, but in terms of in-hand feel, definitely the new Redmi Note 4 feels a lot better. If you notice closely, this is done very well. It counters your hand, I would say, so it feels much better in your hands. And another thing that Xiaomi has done is that it is having a 2.5D glass, so the edges are they just slide it like this. That was not the case with the Redmi Note 3. It had resistance over here. So in terms of in-hand feel, the Xiaomi has done a great job. And in this price range, about 10,000-11,000, I would say this has to be one of the best build quality phones that I have tested. The build quality is actually very close to the Xiaomi Mi Max. So that way I am impressed with what Xiaomi has done for this price point. Now quite a few of you have also asked me about the sensors on this, and let's just fire up the CPU Z app, and the Indian version is having the Snapdragon 625 chipset. As you can see, it's an octa-core processor, and it's having the Adreno 506 GPU. The version that I am using is having that 4GB of RAM, and this is sold in India for 13,000. There is also another version with 2GB and 3GB of RAM. I would say if you are opting for this, opt for at least the 3GB RAM variant. And moving to sensor, it has all the sensors that you would expect, including the gyroscope, compass, and all the sensors. In fact, it has about 40 odd sensors, as you can see. So in terms of sensors, Xiaomi hasn't skimmed, and we also have the compass sensor. For example, if you go to tools, compass, this is the compass sensor, and that also works very well. So in terms of GPS navigation, and I also tested this with the YouTube 360 degrees videos, I did not have any issues. Now coming to user interface, again, it's a Xiaomi device, so it runs on this MIUI, which is familiar. Specifically, it's running on the MIUI 8, and if you go to about the phone, it's still running on the Android version 6.0.1, but the Android Nougat beta update is already out. So in the next couple of months, it should be pushed out to the Android Nougat update. And as you can see, I'm using the 4GB RAM model, as I have mentioned. And again, it's a dual SIM device, but again, it's a hybrid, so you have to be aware of that. So if you want to use a micro SD card, then it'll be only a single SIM. Otherwise, you can use two SIM cards. And in terms of user interface, as you can see, I did not face any lagginess or anything like that. I have so many apps also running, and it runs fine. But again, as it's MIUI, it's sort of a little bit on the heavier side. Let's kill all the apps, and out of that 4GB, I have just about 2.2GB of RAM free. So yes, it's MIUI, it's sort of a little bit on the heavier side, so you have to be aware of that. Hence, that's the reason I would say, if you're opting for this device, go with at least the 3GB RAM variant that is sold for about 11,000. And some of you have also asked me how it runs a different launcher like the Google Now launcher. It's very easy. Just install Google Launcher from the Play Store and go to this home screen setting, and from the default launcher, just select the Google app. And now we should be back to this Google Launcher, which has the app tray and stuff. I've been actually using this device with this Google Launcher, and it works perfectly fine. And some of you have also asked me, does it have a LED notification light? Yes, it has that. And also it does support the Wi-Fi AC band and the regular 2.4 gigahertz band. So both the 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi bands are supported on this device. And now let's talk about the gaming performance. I did quite a bit of gaming also with this device, and I played quite a few heavy games. And as you can see, it played all the heavy games also without any issues. And the best thing was that even with extended gaming, the device did not heat up. So for gaming also, it's a good device. And in general performance, as I have mentioned, the general performance of this device was also very good. I did not face any issues of any lagginess or anything like that when I was using this device. Some of you have also asked about the cellular call quality. I tested this one with the Lance Jio and Airtel 4G here in Hyderabad, and I did not have any issues with cellular call quality. The cellular call quality was very clear. But one thing is that the speaker is just a single speaker on the bottom, and it's just adequate. I would say it's not very loud. So again, if you are expecting that the speaker quality has improved, it's not the case. It's similar to what I found with the Redmi Note 3. So if you're in the same room, you won't have any problems. But if the phone is lying in another room and you're in another room, there are high chances that you would miss the ringtones because the speaker is simply not that loud. Now moving to the battery life, the battery life is amazing on this device. It's having a sealed 4100 milliamp hour battery, and because it's running on the power efficient Snapdragon 625 chipset, the battery life that I was getting on this device is exceptional, I would say. In fact, the Redmi Note 3 also had very good battery life, but this one even is slightly better than that. I would say it's almost 20% better than this one. Again, this is with the regular usage, not very heavy usage, but just notice that it was off the charger for 2 days and 21 hours. So that's almost 3 days. And I've been using it with a single SIM as of now, and still I have about 20% power left. Again, it was not very heavy usage. So screen on time is just about 4 hours, 50 minutes. But again, with one day I was using it heavily, and there I got about 7.5 hours of screen on time. And then also it had about 30% battery life left. So in terms of battery life, Xiaomi has done a great job, and it should easily last, I would say, for about 1.5 to 2 days with normal use. Even if you're a sort of a heavy user, you won't have to charge this device again and again. So in terms of battery life, I was very impressed with this device. And again, the fingerprint scanner is also responsive, I would say. It works fairly well without any issues, as you can see. It's not the fastest that I've seen, like one on the OnePlus 3T or something like that. But again, it works almost every time, I would say. There's a half a second delay when you touch it. So yeah, so that's what regarding the fingerprint scanner. Now moving to the camera, it is having a 13 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. And I would say the camera performance has improved if we compare it with the Redmi Note 3. And in fact, I have already posted a dedicated video where I compared this Redmi Note 4 with the Redmi Note 3 and the Honor 6X. So I would certainly say the camera performance has improved. But again, if we start comparing it to other devices like the Honor 6X or the Moto G4 Plus, they definitely have a better camera. Again, check out the comparison video for more sample shots. But one place where I was disappointed with this phone was in terms of video recording. In video recording, the audio that was recorded was very tinny, and in fact, I would say the audio was sort of unusable because it sounded very robotic. So I was very unhappy with the audio quality of the recording that was done. And also, if you are a sort of a person who does vlogging and stuff, the front facing camera performs very poorly in artificial lighting conditions. So these were some of the things that I noticed with this device. Now let me boil it down between the pros and cons regarding this Redmi Note 4. So what do I feel about this Redmi Note 4? Let's break it down between the pros and the cons. First, let's talk about the good things. That's the pro about these devices. I've made a list, so let's go over that. And the first thing was regarding the battery life. The battery life is excellent. Even the Redmi Note 3 had great battery life, but this would give you almost about 20% better battery life. And in my daily usage testing with my primary SIM, it was easily lasting for about 1.5 days, and most days it was lasting over 2 odd odd days. So in terms of battery life, you don't have to be worried about this device, even if you're sort of a heavy user. And another thing that I really liked about this device, and I've mentioned earlier also, is in terms of build quality. Xiaomi has really upped the build quality with this Redmi Note 4. It feels very premium for the pricing, and it feels great in the hand. And also it has that 2.5D glass, which makes the experience of using this device very good, I would say. Now moving to sensors, again, I like the fact that Xiaomi is not skimping on any sensors on this device. Generally with budget oriented devices, many manufacturers start to skimp on sensors. That's not the case with this Redmi Note 4. And it also still retains the IR blaster, so you can use this to control remote televisions and stuff like that. And regarding cellular call quality, again, the cellular call quality was also very good with this device. I tested this with Airtel 4G and with Reliance Jio. And again, as I've already mentioned, the gaming performance was also very good, and I like the fact that this device does not heat up even after extended gaming. And another thing that I want to talk about is regarding the screen quality. Though it's still having a 5.5-inch 1080p screen, I feel the screen quality has improved when we compare it with the Redmi Note 3. Again, it's not a Super AMOLED screen, but the screen quality has definitely improved. Regarding the auto brightness sensor, it has that, but I'll talk about that in the later part of the video. And again, in general performance, many people were worried how would be the general performance of this device. It's running on the Snapdragon 625 chipset, and I have to say the general performance of this device was also very good. I did not face any UI lags or any stutteriness when I was using this device. So these were the things that I really liked about this Redmi Note 4. Now let's move to some of the things that I actually did not like. And the first thing is the Redmi Note 4, though it's running on the Snapdragon 625 chipset, does not support quick charging. I tried it with 3 different quick chargers, guys. I tested it a lot, and this device simply as of now does not support quick charging. To charge it, it was around 8% when I tested it, and to charge it 100%, it took about 2 hours 45 minutes. So if it's completely dead, it'll take almost 3 hours to completely charge. So there is no support for quick charging with this device, so you have to be aware about that. Also, in terms of video performance, as I've mentioned earlier also, the video recording was not that great, and especially the audio while video recording was pathetic, I would say. It sounded very tinny, as I've shown you in the previous sample shots. Again, you should check out the camera review that I posted. There I posted more samples regarding the video recording. So in terms of video, if you shoot a lot of video, then I would simply not recommend you this device. Also, the speaker, I would say the speaker is not very loud. It's similar to what I had complained regarding the Redmi Note 3. So Xiaomi didn't improve the speaker performance. Yes, the headphone jack has strangely improved. I tested it with Audio Technica M50X headphones, and when I was keeping the volume levels at about 80%, it was driving them well. So headphone jack quality has improved, but again, the speaker quality is not that great. So when I was taking speaker calls and stuff like that, I had to be a little bit careful with this device. So I thought you should be aware of that. And another thing is regarding the auto brightness sensor. It has the auto brightness sensor, but for some strange reason, I don't know if it's just my unit, it was not very heavily calibrated, I would say. Many times, even though it was an auto brightness sensor, but I used to always just manually adjust the brightness. So I feel if Xiaomi can fix that with the OT update, they should calibrate the auto brightness sensor. And again, this is sort of nitpicking. Again, as this back is aluminum, it's sort of slippery, though because of the curved back, it's nice to hold, but again, it's a little bit on the slippery side. And lastly, I would say, as the MIUI is sort of very heavy, I would not recommend you the 2GB RAM variant. If you're going to buy this device, go with at least the 3GB RAM variant. Or again, if you're a sort of a heavy user and want to use it for more than a year or so, then I would recommend the 4GB RAM variant, because that comes with 64GB of storage. So these were some of the pros and cons with this device. I would say overall improvement over the Redmi Note 3, especially in camera. But again, if camera is your highest priority, I would say still the Honor 6X and even the Moto G4 Plus have a better camera compared to this one. But apart from that, overall, I would say, considering the price point, you can get the 3GB RAM variant for just 11,000. I feel it's a very good device for general usage. And again, it does not skimp on sensors and still has the IR blaster. So again, I hope you found this video review helpful, guys. I've also posted some other videos on this Redmi Note 4, especially I would say if you're interested in buying this device, you should check out the FAQ video where I answered most of the common questions that I was getting regarding this device. And I've also posted a separate camera review and even a gaming review. Links for those videos will be there in the YouTube show notes. So again, guys, I hope you found this video review helpful, and if you're still not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.